The police recommended changing the locks on the doors and such. To Lucy, she understood I wouldn't feel comfortable staying in that house for a while after. So she started letting the kids stay with a relative or one of her parents coming to watch the kids. I don't know what happened after that because we kind of fell out of contact. I didn't really like the fact that it was okay with me checking the closet when she was already suspicious that it was her ex. It was definitely a horrifying experience. I had just turned 14. It was the summer of 2012. I was looking for a job. My grandma had told me about a family that she was friends with, and they had two boys, Alexander and Danny. Alexander was 10 and Danny was 5. I was very excited to have a summer job and get some extra spending money. I went over to meet the family with my grandma, and they were friendly enough. The two boys seemed easy to handle and not babyish or whiny at all. In fact, the boys and I were playing with their trucks, getting along great. I set up a date with the parents, and they actually had a dinner to go to the next. So the next night it became time for me to head over to the house. It was a humid, rainy night. I walked into the house, and the parents were just getting ready to leave. They gave me a paper with rules and such, things they didn't want the kids to do and their routines. They wrote a little something on the side that said, Danny swears he hears tapping on his window every night, but not to believe it because they think it's just a silly story that kids make up. I was only 14 myself, so reading this was a little unnerving, but I sort of forgot about it. It was a chill night. We watched TV and played with toys. They didn't give me any sort of trouble, but when I told the boys it was time to get ready for bed, I noticed Danny starting to stall and get kind of distressed. I ignored it, thinking he's only 5 and probably wants to stay up later. Eventually, I got them both to settle down and go to sleep. About an hour and a half had passed. It was now 10 p.m. I heard Danny groggily but loudly yell for me. I rushed up to him and asked what was the matter. He told me he heard the tapping noise again. I instantly felt uneasy and nervous, but I just flicked on the light and looked out the window. Nothing outside except darkness and the solar lights from the neighbor's driveway.
Hi, my name is Hiro. I have a story that my dad once shared with me. This story takes place in Durango, Mexico. When my dad was younger, he used to work with a man on a hacienda. He worked there for 10 years. One day, the man in charge started firing the employees because the hacienda was facing a bad harvest. The fruit trees and animals were dying, and the man didn't have enough money. 2 weeks passed, and my dad was the only one left working on the hacienda. He wanted to leave, but the man told him to stay. My dad kept rejecting him, but eventually agreed to stay for just 2 more days. My dad saw the man depressed and sad because everything was dying. One night, my dad was outside, taking a breath of fresh air when he saw the man walking straight into the forest. My dad got suspicious and followed his boss, spying on him. The man went towards a tall figure standing in the middle of the woods. The figure looked like a tall man, almost like Slender Man. He was very tall, wearing a black suit and a sombrero. My dad could only see his red eyes. Then, the figure took a large book that my dad said was a demonic Bible, like the devil's Bible. My dad couldn't hear what they were saying. The next morning, my dad woke up to the sound of cows and horses mooing. He said they were all dead. My dad opened the door and saw a paradise. The fruit trees were back, and he saw beautiful horses and cows he had never seen before in his life. My dad remembered the previous night when he saw his boss meeting the tall figure. The tall figure was the devil. He made a pact with the devil, which is why all these things had happened. Over the next 3 days, the employees started to come back and everything started to return to normal. In the following days, the man got 4 new trucks. They were very nice trucks, and my dad said the man had a lot of money. One night, my dad saw the man walking into the woods again, so he followed him. This time, the man met a big bull. The bull looked so ugly that my dad had never seen anything like it before. The bull was big, tall, huge, and had glowing red eyes. It opened its mouth and stuck out its long tongue, grabbing the man and putting him in its mouth. The bull swallowed the man and then spit him out. The man's body was covered in black, saliva and blood. 2 years passed and everything was going well. But then, the man contracted a strange disease and passed away within 2 days. When he died, everything on that hacienda started to die again, including the beautiful horses and cows. The employees left the hacienda, including my dad. 12 years passed. And now, back to the present. About 2 years ago, I visited Durango. This happened during the summer. I went to the hacienda and everything was in ruins. The things I saw were huge, deep holes because many people believed the man had buried money there. And some say they see a tall man or a big bull with glowing red eyes. Many people say that the place is cursed.
Hi Daisy, my name is Yaya. When I was 17 years old, I went to visit my family in Mayawanis. I had never been there before, so everything was new to me. Before I left, my older siblings told me to watch out and be careful because I might see or hear things. I literally thought they were playing around. A week before I left to go back home, I had a weird, creepy night. While we were staying there, my mum and I were sharing a room at my AA's house. It was time for us to go to bed, so I said goodnight to my family. My mum and I never locked our bedroom door, just in case someone needed to get something from the room. My mum fell asleep and I was trying to doze off, but I couldn't. At this point, I was facing the closet,